How's it going, y'all? In today's video, we're talking about another amazing neighborhood within Denver. This is Hilltop. You don't want to miss this one. Check it out. How's it going, friends? My name is Jesse Lynch and I run the hardest working real estate team in the game. We're called Welcome to Denver. You can check out our website, welcometodenver.co. But this YouTube channel, it's all about helping you find a place to call home here in the Denver metropolitan area. And relocations, that's what we do, and that's what we do better than anybody else. It's like what we spend all of our time getting good at, helping people out on the internet with the best videos anywhere on the internet. So if that appeals to you, then do me a favor, do yourself a favor, subscribe to this channel, click the bell to get notified so you can see when we're putting these videos out. And if you wouldn't mind, give the video a thumbs up, say something nice or whatever in the comments. And if you want to work with us, we would love to help you. Again, this is our bread and butter. This is like what we do all the time. So you can go to our website, welcometodenver.co. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in like 30 seconds or less, or you can shoot us an email directly to info@welcometodenver.co. They lead to the same spot, so totally up to you how you do it. We just ask that you do. And today's video, like I said at the top, is Hilltop. Hilltop is a sleeper. Hilltop doesn't have the hype that a lot of other places do, but it is fantastic. How cool are those houses, by the way? And this looks like a lot. Looks like a lot. That's begging for a very cool house to be put on it. What do you say? Should we get going? Let's get going. Right now I'm at Crestmore Park here in Hilltop. This is a great park, probably the biggest municipal park in Hilltop, and very, very good size. If you think about Washington Park or Cheeseman Park or Sloan Lake or anything like that, they're great parks. But this one has like a little bit more of that like municipal, almost suburban feel, where there's like a few baseball fields, 2, 3, 4, maybe something like that. There's tennis courts, there's soccer fields, playground, and it just seems a little bit more set up to be, I don't know, used by public organizations or things like that. And Hilltop is a great neighborhood, has a lot to offer. We'll keep talking about that. It's got a population of about 7,500 people, and probably 15 minutes to almost the exact due east of downtown Denver, which then puts it pretty close to the airport, which is right around 25-ish or so minutes from here to the airport. Pretty convenient out that way. The boundaries of Hilltop are as follows. To the north, you have East 6th Avenue Parkway. To the east, you have Quebec Street. To the south, you have South Alameda. And to the west, you have Colorado Boulevard. And that western border of Colorado Boulevard, that also is a dividing line between the Hilltop neighborhood and Cherry Creek. And if you've watched our Cherry Creek video, that's a very, very high-end neighborhood, probably the most high-end in all of Denver proper. And this school is also pretty dang good. You have Denver Public School District. We're in Denver, so of course it's Denver Public School District, which on a whole gets a rating of a B, but I always say this, the spot where you are is more determining of like the overall grade, because Denver's a huge district. So the schools that serve the Hilltop neighborhood are quite good. You have George Washington High School, that gets an A-. You have Hill Campus of Arts and Science, that's a middle school, that gets a B+. And then for elementary schools, 2 A-, Carson and Steck. And like always, if you're in Denver Public School District, there are a lot of charter and magnet schools to choose from. There's also the DSST, Denver School of Science and Technology. It's a public charter STEM school, basically K through 8, I believe. And yeah, highly regarded. So just keep in mind, there's always those options. And we found that people who were helping just have a little bit of relief knowing that there are those options, that just because your address was dedicated to one school, you can always potentially opt for something else. And like I said, we're right next to Cherry Creek, and pretty much anything that Cherry Creek touches is gonna be a very nice neighborhood and probably pretty expensive. That said, this Hilltop neighborhood, very, very nice, and has some really beautiful homes, but you'll see a little bit more of a blend of modest homes mixed in with like all the crazy luxury homes. And then also there are areas that feel a little bit more luxury. If you were to open like Zillow or something like that and just crank it up to above a certain price, you'll kind of see certain trends of where there are collections or a few more of the homes maybe over 1.5 or something like that. Median sale price here in Hilltop is 1.595 million, so basically 1.6 million. And the range of listings goes from 815,000 on the low end for a single family house all the way up to just under 6 million for a single family house. And about 3/4 of the people who live in Hilltop own the home that they live in, and only a quarter rent. But all right, I got more to show you, more to talk about, so let's keep going. All right, y'all, right now I'm walking along the 6th Avenue Parkway. Just a beautiful street. You probably heard me say this. I love a parkway. I just think they add so much charm to a neighborhood. And this is on that northern border of Hilltop. You kind of see this huge, walking space with basically only a dirt trail, grass trail, but it's very walkable, great for walking your dog. You could even pretty simply ride, like a city bike on this little path. It wouldn't be a nightmare at all. But I want to talk through pros and cons of living in Hilltop as I see them. And this is one of the neighborhoods where cons are difficult to think of because it is a good blend. It's got a lot going for it. So pro number one, I say this all the time, access to good schools. The schools in this area are very, very good. And honestly, you probably would be at A- or better schools with whatever school is designated to your address. Another pro, really good park spaces, really good outdoor spaces, just like the natural aspect of this neighborhood is beautiful. From the parkway, which maybe it's not a proper park, but it does serve the same purpose for a lot of things. This is also a huge parkway, so you could come here and, set up a hammock. You could come here and throw a football or a frisbee. Maybe if you're decent at frisbee, otherwise you might be hitting a lot of cars. But right, it's a good size and super usable. Walk a dog, go for a walk, go for a run, go for a bike ride, all that stuff. Even just this is super usable. And then there are several municipal park spaces in the area that would serve other functions as well. So I really think the park space is a big bonus. It's not just one, wash park, beautiful, one park that serves the neighborhood, and it's, an exceptional park. But the parks here, there's just more of them. Maybe they're smaller and maybe a little less sought after, but beautiful nonetheless. Another pro for me is once you're not on these main, thoroughfares like 6th Avenue Parkway, like Colorado Boulevard, it is so quiet. So, this is the border. If you get just 2 blocks in, it's so quiet, so chill, and really very neighborhoody. Another pro, you have good access to suburban amenities. So not within the neighborhood, really. You have to go outside of the neighborhood for it, but they're all very, very close. If you live on the eastern portion, there's a Safeway like a couple minutes away. If you're in the northern part, there's a Trader Joe's minutes away. If you're on the south or southwest portion, there's a Target just minutes away. So, and the neighborhood's not that big, so you have access to all those things pretty easily, although they're not within the border. Another pro for me is you have beautiful homes with a cool variety too. There's homes from several different decades. I mean, maybe as many as any neighborhood in this area. Right now I'm looking at homes that are from probably the 20s and a home that's probably from the 50s, and they're all beautiful, and it's a nice variety. variety, and that's something that I love and appreciate in a neighborhood. One other thing that I think is cool about the houses here is that even the more modest houses, right? You get in a block off the parkway, 2 blocks off the parkway, you can find much more modest houses here, but they're still like immaculate, right? So maybe you don't want, I don't know, a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house. Maybe you just want a 3-2 because you don't want to, you know, clean too much of a house, but you want a really nice house with really nice updates. I think you're going to be able to find that here, and that is some of these other more luxury neighborhoods, those don't exist as much, right? The older houses, the smaller houses are in disrepair, and they're going to get scraped because people are going to put in a $4 million house. That doesn't seem to be the case here. There's that cool variety and cool option for more modest in size house, but like truly beautiful homes. And then, like I said, cons were hard to think of. Again, this is one of those neighborhoods that fits my taste very well. It's nice, it's high end, but it's not the most like in your face wealthy, right? Don't get me wrong, that exists, but it's like there's more character, more charm in this neighborhood than some of the other more luxury spots. So con number 1, it's expensive, technically, right? Compared to the median, it is expensive, coming in around like 1.6 million. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that that's not expensive, but I do think it's one of those luxury neighborhoods where you just get a little bit more for your money. You still have the lifestyle that is luxury, but maybe there's not the hype that's associated with a Cherry Creek or Wash Park or something like that. And then last con, there's 2 cons. The last con that I can think of is it's not like what I think of as a cafe neighborhood, to the extent that it doesn't fit my taste. Is I love the idea, I love to be situated in a spot where you can take a few minute walk, end up at a cafe or a restaurant or something like that, which other than like a couple spots like Park Burger, there's not much of that happening here. You have to leave the neighborhood, which means you're either gonna take a long walk, you're gonna need a bike or scooter, or you're gonna need to hop in the car to go do a lot of that stuff. So that's all I got for pros and cons, but I do have some other thoughts on other neighborhoods that feel like this that maybe you'll wanna consider. All right, y'all, right now I'm at Elm and Ellsworth, and this is definitely feels like you're on the little bit more high end of a street than some of the other ones that we've been on, but some very beautiful houses here. And I want to talk through some other spots that you might want to consider if you're liking what you see here. And before I do, like I always say, if you want to work with us, we would love to help. You can go to our website, welcometodenver.co. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in about 30 seconds. If you know your name, phone number, email address, we make it super easy. Or you can just shoot us an email directly to info@welcometodenver.co. All good. They lead to the same inbox, so whatever preference you have, just feel free to do that. And then we'll connect and we'll get things going for you, and you'll be here in no time. Some of these more like modern built houses over here. We've got kind of some townhome situation over here as well. Some really cool stuff, and it kind of fits into this neighborhood in such a cool way. But let's talk similar neighborhoods, right? For fans of section, I like to say it's like the old CDs back in the day. You'd buy a CD of a band or an artist, and they'd say, if you like this, here are some other artists that you might like. That's the same exact idea that we got going on here. Number 1, I'm gonna say Cherry Creek, and that's mostly because it's right next door, and I think a lot of people would consider both, right? If you could find the right house for the right price in Cherry Creek, almost certainly you would go for it. But there are some differences. Whereas I think neighborhoods like Country Club, Congress Park, and maybe Wash Park are like a little bit closer in vibe. You have, combinations, a little more of a variety of houses like this nice, huge, new houses, and maybe houses like that, older, but updated, and just smaller houses blended in. Whereas Cherry Creek, it's a little bit more of just this, right? A little bit more just new. And then a couple that are on the other side of the metropolitan area, basically on the other side of Denver, in the northwest corner, that come to mind that have a similar feel, where they're not the most walkable, but they feel neighborhoody, and there's beautiful houses, and the median is going to be relatively close. Those are going to be Berkeley and then maybe like West Highlands, both beautiful neighborhoods. And then I think lastly, mostly it comes to mind as being maybe a more affordable option. The median is about $600,000 less, or maybe $400,000 less, and that's South Park Hill. We have virtual tours on every single one of those neighborhoods, by the way. So if you haven't done so yet, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Or just keep going down the rabbit hole. Keep watching these, see how you feel. I'll see you. Bye-bye.